To celebrate 2 awesome seasons of Rebels, I wanted to count down the top 6 best lightsaber duels in my opinion. There have been so many great duels that we've been able to witness, especially after Season 2 wrapped, and I'm sure more awe-inspiring and emotional duels will follow. Before we begin with the video, I briefly wanted to talk about an intriguing, informative Star Wars card game app that I've had the opportunity to be sponsored by for this video. In the description down below is a link that will let you download this awesome game absolutely free. From my time playing the card game, I have learned so much more about the Star Wars universe than I had before, and the plethora of cards to collect is absolutely impressive. I loved collecting and reading the bios about very obscure and interesting characters, compelling me to collect more and more. One of my favorite parts of the game is finding the different versions of the characters and trying to collect all the variants for those characters. I was so impressed with how detailed and in-depth all the cards were, covering nearly every single Star Wars character, both major and minor, from Jedi to Smuggler. As I said, it is absolutely free to download in the description down below, and I have to say it's tons of fun and very informative for both hardcore and more casual Star Wars fans. I honestly think the game is a great way to learn more about any Star Wars character you're curious about and have fun competing and trading with friends to ultimately see who has the best cards and the most knowledge. Now let's begin with the top 6 Rebels lightsaber duels. Number 6, Kanan vs. the Inquisitor, Round 1. This lightsaber duel is the first duel between Kanan and the Grand Inquisitor when the Ghost Crew was searching for Luminara Unduli, who they had received a transmission from. I love the duel because for the majority, Kanan is significantly outmatched and for the first time is truly facing a legitimate threat in the Rebels series. It's great how quickly the Grand Inquisitor analyzes Kanan and the fighting style he uses, including who taught him and how they taught him to fight. The introduction of the Inquisitor is also very strong, and the proper way we see his fighting style be conducted was great. It's also a compelling duel because it gives us interesting insight into how the other Jedi were lured there and exterminated by the Inquisitors. The entirety of the duel basically consists of the Grand Inquisitor tearing Kanan down and making it clear how unrefined he really was at the time. Number 5, Kanan vs. the Jedi Temple Guard. This duel also has an interesting dynamic occurring throughout it, due to the fact that it is essentially a rematch of an old confrontation, only from a different point of view. The duel this time, again, is all about Kanan and his ability to continue to fight for what he believes in. The duel also gives us one of the biggest reveals of the series, showing us the Grand Inquisitor was once a Jedi Temple Guard. This duel carries great significance because it served as Kanan's rite of passage and ascension to a Jedi Knight. It also went as far to make the Grand Inquisitor a far more interesting character. Number 4, Ahsoka vs. the Inquisitors. This duel is one of my favorite because it was a showcase of Ahsoka's progression as a lightsaber duelist. It was great to see Ahsoka outmatch the Inquisitors with relative ease. Ahsoka's moves were so precise and quick, she quickly overwhelmed the 2 ill-prepared Inquisitors. My favorite moment of the duel is when Ahsoka actually chooses to put her lightsabers away and manages to catch the 7th Sister's lightsaber and deactivate it. Overall, it was a great moment and showed us how more capable Ahsoka had become and even awe-inspiring Ahsoka had become. It also managed to show us that Ahsoka was in fact a viable threat to Vader due to her feats in the duel against 2 of his servants. Number 3, Kanan and Ezra vs. Darth Vader. Similar to how Ahsoka's duel with the Inquisitors showcased her abilities, this duel showcased Vader's as he engaged Kanan and Ezra. There are so many impressive feats in this duel on behalf of Vader, including where he nearly decapitates Ezra with his own lightsaber by using the Force, or when he lands a well-placed blow to Kanan's armor. Vader shows us how precise and elegant of a duelist he is in this duel and reveals he is not only extremely deadly with the lightsaber, but with physical strikes and the Force as well. Remaining faithful to the iconic character is also something I applaud the duel for, as his strength and prowess is not understated. My favorite moment in this duel is when the Ghost Crew drops a walker on him, but he lifts it with the Force and continues his pursuit. Overall, very satisfying and awe-inspiring. Number 2, Maul, Kanan, and Ahsoka vs. the Inquisitors. The duel between these characters that occurred in the Season 2 finale of Rebels was amazing, and a great reintroduction into the intense, fast-paced fighting style of Darth Maul. While Kanan and Ahsoka do take place in the duel, it is all about Maul, as he seemingly dances around the battlefield fooling with the Inquisitors as he knocks them in the face with his cane, almost mocking their subpar abilities. I will also include Maul's other engagement with the Inquisitors in this spot, when he is tempting Ezra and manages to kill the 5th brother and 7th sister. These duels indicate to us we have a real treat to look forward to in Season 3 of Rebels, and even though we have not seen Maul in some time, his abilities appear to only have increased, and he retains much of his skill as clearly indicated by his engagements in the finale. Number 1, Ahsoka versus Darth Vader. This duel was by far the most significant and anticipated duel of the series, with Season 2 leading up to this confrontation, and for some, maybe even the Clone Wars and Rebels as a whole. The connection and backstory between the two characters involved is largely compelling, and seeing Ahsoka in the duel so unwilling to give up on her former master is heartbreaking. I adore the actual physical fight between the two of them, and see many connections aesthetically between this and the duel between Obi-Wan and Anakin on Mustafar. Ahsoka is on the offensive for the majority of the duel, attempting to outmaneuver and overwhelm Vader, but Vader at this point was too skilled and had learned from his past blunders, keeping a conservative fighting stance and blocking and parrying many of Ahsoka's strikes. When Vader does decide to go on the offensive, you really feel the weight of his blows against his former apprentice, as every clash of the blade between the two staggers Ahsoka, but very impressively never overtake her. The fight is emotional and provides us a confrontation with these two at the absolute peak of their abilities. The ending where Vader shows just how cruel and heartless he has become is devastating, and overall I can say that in my opinion, this is quite possibly one of the best duels we have ever gotten from Star Wars. So tell me what you think. What is your favorite Rebels lightsaber duel? Or give me your top 5. Thanks again to Topps for sponsoring the video, and don't forget to check out the link in the description.